Hey, this is the real life version of Words with Friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so I don't know. What do you want to talk about? I guess we should introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
Introduce us.
Welcome to Pun Intended, right?
Is that what we're calling us?
That's what the running title is.
We are pun intended.
A group of 30-somethings who enjoy pun and wordplay exploration in the non-sexual sense.
I'm not making promises.
All right, so let's go around. This is our first official recording. Get to know each other a little bit. Shoot the shit, as they say. So we have Peter, or as we might get to know him better, Pun DMC.
Pun DMC.
Right.
Very little interest in rap, but quite a bit in wordplay.
Okay.
There we go.
So tell us about that. Like, what got you into wordplay?
Being bad at pretty much everything else, I think.
Were you one of those, like, chess is a real sport?
No, I played a lot of sports growing up and then realized I can't do math, history, and everything else.
I love dogs.
There is a time in your life when you realize, like, if I make stupid jokes, people will pay attention to me and laugh as a form of validation.
And then it reaches that cliff where I've made it too much, too much.
And now that's who you are.
I'm pumping the brakes on a car that went over the hill.
Pumping the brakes. Sorry. I'll see myself in. Okay, so you weren't good at anything else.
Anything else academically, this was just naturally came to me, and it was a good way of attracting people, attracting friends, and making people laugh, which is always enjoyable.
So
really
in college, or when do you really think that you felt your pun calling?
I first got into poetry in high school, and I wasn't very good at it, but I was barely above average in writing poetry. That's when I first got interested in it. And then through friendships, and experiences in college, grew to enjoy it more.
What about poetry do you think you really liked? Like the rhyming, or the art without rhyming, or
the intentional, the creative
manipulating the language
intention of trying to, the attempt of trying to take this vision and idea and thought in your head and paint it beautifully in someone else's mind, exactly how you see it
through words.
Okay. And being very intentional about it, I think is a really good. It's an art form that I can appreciate. I'm not good at, but I can appreciate it.
Okay, and then so you started appreciating some of the nuances in the language, and that became what? Like, did you have like a certain poem or like a teacher that said you suck?
Good point. I did have a teacher.
Definitely the latter.
Positive reinforcement.
Yeah, not a teacher so much.
All of
Singular.
This has to be a tragedy.
What a concept.
Speaking of classical literature, Othello, meet Peter.
The more the merrier.
Okay. Go, man. Yeah. And then I slaughtered another one. But yeah, I had one of my teachers, a poetry teacher in high school. She was all about minimalistic poetry.
Okay.
And so you'd be forced to try to find as many meanings in one word as possible to get the most utility out of it.
Okay.
So it was really good at kind of forcing your way into puns and wordplay in general.
Okay.
Cool.
And I guess my next question is, have you ruined any relationships because of your love for puns?
Family and friends. It's been a dark and twisted road that got me here.
Sounds like Frost, yeah.
But you've gained some in the process as well.
True. Yes, I'm not sure you guys like me right now, but you're forced to sit with me a couple hours a week, so this will be great.
That's kind of what marriage is all about, right? Like, someone's contractually obligated to spend time with you.
Exactly. I see you've been practicing your vows.
But why though?
Excuse me, I'm having a vow.
Sesame Street, come at us, come at me on.
I'm incontinent right now.
This is fantastic. I love it. All right, so what made you want to do something like this? Pun-based podcast.
Honestly, my friend, who you'll meet in a little bit, Andrew Mobbs, really enjoyed. We met each other a long time ago, and I've always admired him for his.
I think both of our keys were in the same bowl. That's what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Great party.
Flashback. This podcast is from the past.
And watching him, and then our friendship that became a really strong thread in our friendship is wordplay and just joking around. So it's
cool.
It's been great. So I appreciate it. And thanks for having me here. And thanks for inviting me aboard.
Cool. So who's next? Zoe Escargot.
Yeah.
The one, the only.
I think I'm the only.
Well, you're at least the 33rd or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, fourth.
Fourth, sorry.
There are 3 other people with the initials.
Elizabeth.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about yourself. How'd you get into punnery?
Well, my mom is British, so I grew up with a lot of British humor.
Like Monty Python?
Yeah, like Monty Python was huge.
Oh, awesome.
And just like some of those like cheesy British game shows that are just full of those just really groan-inducing jokes. But I was also pretty big into writing and poetry. I remember my high school teacher told me that my poetry style was a mix between Shel Silverstein and Emily Dickinson, which was like
how do you
whimsical rhymes with a really depressing edge to them. So I always really liked rhyming. I liked coming up with ways to just make people laugh, or even if it was just like a groan. Again, I felt like
the groaners, yeah.
I never quite believed they disliked it. So, I have fun playing with words, or at least finding that way to be creative. So, yeah.
Okay.
That's what brought me here.
So the Shel Dickinson or the Emily Silverstein?
Ooh. I do like that.
Yeah.
Emily Shel.
I enjoyed Shel Silverstein growing up.
I did too. I really liked the one about the girl who won't take the garbage out. I relate to that on a deep level. You should look it up. It's pretty cool.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
In other news, this isn't a counseling session, but thank you for sharing.
That's what I was told.
So, where did the connection come for you?
I think I used to write a lot of poems for friends and family, like when it was their birthday or on like big events. And so it would get me into that mindset of like running through different words in my head of like what works here, what works there. And I think with puns, it's very similar. If you think of a word or a theme, you're thinking of, okay, what rhymes with that? What's associated with that? And it's almost like you're trying to generate something and make something click. And I like that. I think
it clicks.
Yeah. I've never been really good at math, but I feel like...
Which is ironic.
It is ironic considering my job.
Yeah.
I'm in charge of a lot of mathy people. But...
Who do not appreciate humor.
They don't.
Rarely.
So that's what's been hard. Well, like, they do, but you have to put more thought into it than a pie joke, right? So, like, you can do something and be like, hey, I saw the sign. They like that, because that's, like, some trigonometry.
Hey, girl, I'd like to lie tangent to your curves.
Yeah, it's pretty good. They would like that.
Winky face.
But, like,
so you got to the square root of the problem, then? To hear them?
Yeah. They're like,
where's the edit button again?
Wait, let's try that again.
Sorry.
We're trying to unite.
Not to basic trigonometry to pre-algebra.
Sorry, I went off on a tangent.
Yeah. I qualify myself as being bad at math, so this is a weak area.
Let's put our differentials aside.
Oh, nice. They only took a fraction of the time.
I'm just going to start naming shapes. I think that's best.
Circle!
That's the Hail Mary of the circle.
Let's circle back.
What's your rectangle here?
So yeah.
Okay,
Remember when this was about me?
Yes, sorry.
My ignorance
but yeah, I like that it is something a little bit mathematical. It's kind of like a puzzle. It requires some form of wit and thinking on your feet.
Intelligence.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Well, but I feel like if you can understand, like you're saying, the process that goes into making a witty pun.
Yeah.
Like there's some intellectual connection with whoever's reading it or hearing it, and there's a disconnect between when it, obviously goes over someone's head. Right. Or you have to explain it.
Well, and I think once you do it like 3 times, then you're just that person, right? And then everyone expects you to,
continue to be that person.
Yeah, exactly. Which I'm okay with. I like to be that kind of person.
Yeah.
But
you just got to be around the right people.
Yeah. So I think that's how it just became a part of what I do.
Cool. All right, and our favorite Midwesterner, the only Midwesterner in the room.
Well, Southerner.
Really? Arkansas South?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Midwest?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's
a hell of a way to start off your podcast career, buddy.
Okay, so
tell us about yourself.
Yeah, I really resonate with what Pun DMC, and as far as
oh yeah, sorry, said, Andrew, what's your DJ name?
DJ Leroux, Leraux.
Oh, so you're a snobby French person.
That's right.
That's only a street name.
That's
right.
Like
that's Creole French.
That's the street. You know, if I lived on Bumpkin Street, I would be DJ Bumpkin at this point. But you know, you play the hand that you're dealt, and mine is a little pretentious.
I don't think I can be Cripple Creek. That sounds a little insensitive.
It does.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh yeah. What's the other one? Like
Northwest.
Pikes. Yeah.
Pikes Peak.
I did hear. I saw something funny. It was like, so can someone tell me what French is? And they were like, just speak Spanish, but in cursive. Yeah, I really like
use a little.
It's really good.
That's
really good.
You were almost from Louisiana.
That's true.
And that's
my sister-in-law is from Louisiana. I've been into Louisiana. I haven't been to like New Orleans or anything. I've been in the. I would say I have explored the least desirable parts of Louisiana.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Unwittingly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
I agree.
Too soon? Never.
I agree with. Well, the time is infinite, so there you go. No, I agree with what you said about. Well, first of all, I enjoy reading. I think that's something that we all have in common.
Okay.
So just that really boosts your. In order to be a good writer or a good punter, arguably, it helps if you are an avid reader because you're just boosting
Your vocab,
your lexicon, your understanding, and just really tapping into. I guess, all of the potential that a single word in your language, culture, etc. has can be manifested with punning. I also enjoy trying to be hyper aware of accidental puns that people make.
And point them out to them. That's so satisfying.
It makes them feel so special. Like they thought of that on purpose.
Yeah.
They did it.
Alternatively, they just give you the death stare and walk
I think
out.
that's fake.
But
I don't believe
it's
that anyone
internally
hates a pun.
gratifying.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think everyone loves it.
They're thanking me silently before they fall asleep.
And thinking of ways you get identified as a pun person, pointing out someone else's accidental pun right there off the bat. It's forever labeled as a pun person.
Support group, right?
Yeah.
But I've always been. I've always appreciated reading, literature, language. I'm not anti-math. My father was actually a math teacher. He got his bachelor's of science in mathematics. He taught math for over 20 years. My brother and I did not inherit a lot of his analytical prowess in that respect, but we could get to the basics.
And I think just by,
as you said, the square root.
By the way Andrew's speaking, he thinks he's better than us, so.
Well, and if you're waiting for me to disagree, then we have plenty of dead air for that. I'm also good at being modest.
It is Dr. Leroux.
Andrew Alexander Mobs.
That's right, Mobstist. Well, but I also really relish poetry. Aside from punning, it's my favorite thing in the world.
I was going to say, you're a published poet as well, right?
I do. I don't care about the money. I just like it's a really gratifying hobby. Sort of like executing a pun is similar to crafting a poem that's very satisfying. And sometimes I'll submit them here and there, and for every 20 rejections, you get one acceptance.
So I think poetry is a theme, and for myself too. But like, do we tend to like a certain type or structure or of poem?
So. That's a good question. My tastes have changed. I pretty much resonate in terms of formatting and style. I'm open to all as long as the content is gripping. I'm a very image heavy person. I really like narrative poetry.
Okay.
The poem that really opened the proverbial floodgates in high school was something that's
Dickory Duck.
Hickory Dickory Duck. So yeah, it actually
spoke to my soul.
I don't think you two know this. It's actually my very first tattoo. It's T.S. Eliot's The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock.
Oh.
Yes, and I'm not really modernist. It's right here. Shall I part my hair behind?
Right. He says right here, but he's pulling his
I'll leave it to your imagination.
Free the nipple.
This is clearly pin drawn right before, so you could have an excuse to do this. Yeah, shall I part my hair behind? Do I dare you to peach? I shall wear white flannel trousers and walk along the beach. I've heard the mermaids singing each to each. Yeah, it was also very cheap, like $60 for a 19-year-old. It's the dream. Yeah. It's faded and everything.
Footprints?
So
they are footprints. Yes.
I have a question along the lines of poetry. And this sounds very like white of me, but I actually
she's half Mexican, by the way.
I am. That's my diversity card right there. But I actually like in college gained a really big respect for rap music for that reason. And just appreciating a lot of the thought that goes into words there. And it sounds very like, well, rap is just poetry, but in song form. But I do think that was something that really opened my mind to the way that words can
be used.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, off the top of my head, Lupe Fiasco. Absolute genius.
Absolutely.
Have you seen the article that there's like quantitative analysis of different rappers' vocabularies? That was fascinating.
And he's controversial. I'm a very big appreciator of Kanye West, even though there's a lot of controversial things personally going on.
You can appreciate him as an artist.
I do appreciate him as an artist, and he is actually a big fan of the pun. And one day, maybe I'll read some very good puns.
I would love that. We can add him to our guest of celebrities who want to take part.
I don't know if this is accurate, on IMDb, I read a few years ago that his favorite band is the Scottish band Franz Ferdinand.
Nice. He's very inspired by that and the Killers, and I've seen him in concert 3 times. I'm a big fan of his artistry. As a person, I'm very concerned.
Totally.
But I think that's what happens when you have some artistic genius going on.
Yeah.
But
and when you marry a Kardashian.
Yeah, that's just not good. That's the second semi-Kardashian reference we've made already.
What's the first one?
Caitlyn Jenner.
Wait, that person's a Kardashian?
Yeah, well, he married in.
Oh.
Yeah.
She married, sorry.
But back when he did identify as a he.
Yes.
No, true.
That's it. Yeah. All right. Accidentally correct on that one.
I know.
Okay.
Hashtag student affairs. Hashtag sensitive. But no, I think that's like an interesting thing that was a brand of music that
you weren't exposed to.
Yeah, that I really gained appreciation for because of that.
Because of the linguistic genius.
Yeah.
How about you? Any sort of type of poem that you like, or?
There was one that really inspired me. It was written about a guy that passed away. He's out on the East Coast, and he died. And someone was writing kind of an ode to him. There once was a man.
Is this the poem?
From Nantucket.
Oh, God.
No, it was a lot of, especially I was huge into music. So all the artists, as you sang, I think particularly with hip hop and rap, there's a stronger direct connection from that to poetry. I think it's easier to see, and I just love it with Tribe particularly.
And you'll be modest, but you're an excellent musician. You're trained. You play guitar regularly.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm a guitar. Yeah, I played guitar for quite some time now. Cool. And it's always been a love of mine. And I started with rock and blues, but then eventually got introduced to hip hop and just the word that turned into that wordplay.
And it's fearless.
When it comes to it is.
It's fearless. That's what I like about it.
You know,
try this out.
The brain, I read, like neurologically, it processes music and language, basically the same parts of your brain. Like when you think about the rhythm and prosody of words, so it's like the tone, and the tempo of music. So some people, like if you are musically inclined, or if you're trained to play a musical instrument as a child, or have any vocal training, then some studies would say that increases
more of an affinity.
Correct. Your aptitude for language learning and just words in general. So because it goes down to where it takes place in your brain.
Interesting.
Do you ever listen to songs and be like, this would be a better song if we changed the lyrics to this?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
All the time.
That's something that really I get frustrated about. It's like, I don't like this song because the lyrics are crap.
Or
but
I would like it better.
I would like it better.
Why didn't they consult me?
Yeah, like it would be a bigger hit. I'm concerned for you.
50 years until I was born.
Come on, Elvis, get your shit together.
Why is no one asking?
Literally.
Come on, Elvis.
Oh, that was a rough one. And of course the classic, like 20 years later, you finally correctly interpret the lyric.
Good call.
It seems like once a year.
That's clever.
My classic example for that is, I don't know if you all remember that song iPod I think it's called iPod or Replay by Iaz that came out. It's like,
how does it go?
I don't know, it was in the early 2000s. And the chorus goes something like, and my iPod stuck on replay.
Yeah.
No, that's Sean Kingston.
No, it's
No.
Oh.
It is.
I don't know what the song's called, but
it was a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's called Replay. Yeah.
So anyway, I heard it,
Positive.
and this was back before you could just like Google song lyrics, and I was convinced that was that your eyeball was stuck on replay, and I convinced everyone at my school.
It was Iaz.
And then, like 3 years later, they were like, it's iPod. I'm like, shit. God damn it.
Yeah.
I remember someone looked me up on Facebook after we were at different colleges just to tell me that.
We have a tradition based off of my ignorance on that very same thing. There's a song, for those listening, Mobsy and I are on a trivia team, and every Wednesday, there's a song that comes on, and the lyric goes, "Wanna be..." For my mom, who promised she'd listen, there's a lyric on there that says, "Want to be rebels," and I always thought it was...
So this is...
please.
No, you're... Keep going.
Please interrupt me to tell the story back.
I just want... Who sings this? Who sings this?
I've never...
It's a contemporary country musician.
Yeah, it's pretty common.
Taylor Swift.
No. It's,
Wait, what's the line?
It's, we were...
Kenny Chesney.
That's
who sings this song.
And one of the song there's we were "Wanna Be Rebels," and I
Wanna Be Rebels.
And I always thought it was Barney Rubble. It's so bad.
Barney Rubble. Hey, yo, Fred, I don't have a clue.
And of course, I told what my interpretation of this lyric to the bar, and of course they accepted it incredibly nicely and empathetically.
And now everybody,
by laughing and
when we
screaming
think about it, random people will shout Barney Rubble.
That's a better lyric, though.
Yeah.
Barney
Rubble. Didn't have a clue.
Oh,
he really didn't.
He didn't. My name's Nick Rathbone. Rick Rathbone in some communities.
Oh, that's in legal print, man. That's what it's in writing.
Yes. Anyway, my DJ name, I think we're going with Velocirathbone.
You like it?
That's just one of the screen names I grew up with. The other one being Pieman34, which I realized, yes, 314. Yes, everyone tells me that, but middle school me was a dumbass. So
you completed middle school last year.
2 years ago. I'm an alum. Don't worry. So hold on. I don't know if any of you grew up religious.
Oh, absolutely.
Did you?
So not by my parents, but I went to 12 years of Catholic school.
Okay.
So
how about you?
Religious light, Episcopalian and Quaker, which is like the lovey-dovey hippie.
So we grew up with the. What are the people called in Virginia?
Virginians.
No.
Amish.
No. I don't remember what religion it was.
Southern Baptist.
Anglicans. I grew up missionary Baptist.
Brother Dad?
No. There's like I don't know. One of the off branches of mainstream Christianity.
Lutheran?
No, it's like
Presbyterian?
There's another one that I'm not thinking
Methodist?
of. Methodist. That's Methodist.
Yeah.
Baptist, Methodist, or whatever. So I grew up that, and I wasn't allowed to have any fun growing up. I mean, I say that kind of tongue-in-cheek because I was a rebel.
Were you born to be Barney Rubble?
I was born to be a rebel.
Didn't have a clue.
And so I wasn't allowed to read.
That song is about him.
I think there's a lot that we're learning. The Flintstones is still relevant.
It totally is.
Oh, yeah.
But kind of like classic Footloose, like Beaumont, Texas, like no dancing, no fun.
Yeah.
I really,
Yes, yeah. And like I wasn't allowed to watch TV or The Simpsons after a certain... I mean, I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons, but I got one of those old like UHF, VHF TVs, and I snuck it into my room, and so I'd watch The Simpsons late at night.
So there was a Methodist J Madness.
There was. Yes, there was.
Edit button.
And so because of this, I grew up on Christian artists, which did not have a lot of variety in terms of music.
Did you get the WoW? Oh yes, I was gifted a WoW back in the day. Mm-hmm.
And there's like Stacey Orico and
DC Talk. Was that still around? Yeah.
Chris Chamberlain. I don't know. Mercy Me. Anyway, so
Slipknot.
When you listened to it, did you put your hand in the air and sway? Because I always wanted to see that in real life.
Yes. Although
with a little crying too.
Oh, or shaking of head.
Yes.
What about the one where you like be healed, brother?
Well, that's different.
I guess practicing Christians are not our target demographic. Or are they?
Judging by the pitchforks out a door, probably not.
So I wasn't allowed to do a whole lot of things that I would consider fun now. So one of the books that I remember reading over and over is a book called Good Clean Jokes for Kids.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds so good.
It was bad, but good, and it awakened something inside of me.
Wow.
And I don't remember the author, but I'm trying to find it just to relive my childhood. And from there, I think I discovered Weird Al. And I think that it was a really good,
great too, actually. Yeah.
Good,
future
clean
guest of this podcast.
Indeed, yes. I've already tweeted at him. So it was kind of like a good combination of music, cleverness, wit, and also good catchy tunes. And I kind of was introduced to that parody genre, which I still very much enjoy because I do think, like you were saying, it requires some element of intelligence and understanding of structures and positioning and rhyme and language to be successful at that. From there, I think that was just my thing. Dad jokes, right? I loved them. Yeah. And my dad is not very funny, but I would make fun of him a lot for the just normal everyday things. And I think that's the things that I appreciate the most about puns is how everyday they can be. Whereas I think sometimes like a lot of advanced jokes require a lot of setup to get to the message or to get to the punchline. But I think that, like you were saying, pointing out when people make jokes pun intentionally, I think that's like really the creme to the creme.
Just the immediacy of it, the instant gratification.
Yeah, and you're like, either I did mean that or I didn't, but holy crap, now I'm going to mean that next time. Yeah. So, I think that was my introduction to puns, is just through
that's very
good clean jokes for kids.
What made you want to start this podcast?
Well,
and why these people?
Yeah.
Why are we special?
You're not. I actually started with other individuals in mind, but you were the only ones who said yes.
That sounds about right.
B-team.
That's my strategy through life. So as long as people keep doing it.
Any Modern Family fans, like Phil Dunphy's advice, right?
I'm going to find a job.
Lower your expectations and
I'm here.
You'll be happy.
I'm around.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I think that this is something that I've always wanted to do, just find a community of other linguists and language enthusiasts and poets and musicians and, big brain pun appreciators.
And Peter.
Well, Peter's kind of our off-mic producer.
And he also ran.
Peter, you can edit that out and post it.
I know my role. I have a liberal arts degree from Durango, Colorado in psychology. You said linguist, I almost pissed myself.
I know. It was like history from Arizona State.
Everyone made awkward eye contact with me when they started talking about credentials.
So one thing that we wanted to do for this puncast is, unbeknownst to local companies and employers and businesses, we would like to volunteer
sponsorship.
Our expertise and sponsorship to offer them potential pun-based taglines and slogans. And so throughout the show, during our normal ad breaks, we'll go ahead and use our wit and charm to advertise. And who knows, maybe one day we'll get paid for this. 30 seconds to a minute. Do as much or as little as you want. Peter, sorry, pun DMC.
So 30 seconds for each or all together?
Yeah, each.
Okay, good. Okay.
No, yeah. So, if you'd like me to time you, I can.
Well, I'm just nervous. I'm going to try to say it.
No, just do your best.
All right.
And
go through the whole thing?
Yeah, just go through the whole thing. And Jay's Bird Barn, a local Flagstaff bird emporium.
White whale of spots.
Yes, indeed. All right, pun DMC, what do you got for Jay?
Right. Are soaring soaring prices for your birds leaving your budget in clear and pheasant danger? Thinking of using some hawkish old bird store that has the gall not to parrot all of your needs? Well, cock-a-doodle don't. Flock to Jay's Bird Barn and we'll take care of the nest. Our low prices will help you duck high costs and stretch your budget. Swan visit is all it takes, and you'll Swan Visit is all it takes. You'll be crowing about our chirp prices and great selection. And this month, we have a real tweet in store for our customers. So peek out of your shell and migrate to our nearest branch, because you can listen to our special guest speaker, avian expert, Dr. Ray Vinn. Hear him discuss this paper on the prevalence of diseases in roosters titled, Why the Early Bird Catches the Germ. And coming in June, guest speaker, the director of Perch and Rescue Bird Sanctuary, Reverend Albert Tross, take this special opportunity to hear about his global efforts to save avian wildlife, titled Give Geese a Chance. So that's it, folks. Drive, bike, or squawk to Jay's Bird Barn, and from here on out, we'll stork the fires of your avian interests and leave your heart flaming. Go to our newest branch, open 7 days a week, crane or shine. We'll assure you won't egret it.
Egret. Yes. Yes.
That was
fantastic.
Let's just not follow that up with anything.
I'm glad I didn't prepare anything.
One of those like cheesy.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere.
Funny you say that.
Because that one,
that's right content,
right.
I imagine. Oh, yeah. I know where you're going with it.
That is one of my stories.
Yes. Okay.
Man, we got a title already. We worked it. Yeah.
So we have Hit Me Baby, Pun More Time, which is our lovely Zoe Escargot's pop culture, celebrity, domestic, international conglomerate. Punglomerate.
Yeah.
So, from what I understand, you will be giving us some headlines to choose from, or news stories.
Yes.
To choose from.
Yeah. So I have a few news stories here.
Are they old?
They're within the last month.
Or are they just news?
They're.
Yikes. That was a reaction.
I love it though.
Visceral.
Talking about another pun bites the dust.
Ooh, yeah.
Please
stay tuned.
Yeah.
So yeah, the way this works, I've selected about 4 or 5 stories from the past month because we're not very current with our current events.
Yeah.
We got jobs. So I'm gonna read some recent pop culture / current events news. One of them is just a weird story that I think there's a lot of potential with. And then I'm gonna give you all the chance to come up with what you think is a prime headline for that story.
Pun-based headline for the story.
Okay.
All right, give it to us.
Lori Loughlin, who played Aunt Becky in Full House, has been accused of paying $500,000 to a fake charity to get her 2 daughters accepted into USC by disguising them as crew recruits.
Like rowing?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, there's some stuff there. Boats.
So,
Aunt Becky.
Is this I choose this story, Andrew chooses a different story?
I'm just going to let it be a free-for-all.
Or do we want to do, collectively which story we think would have the best headlines?
Ooh, we can kind of work through them together?
Or do we want to just, I'll take one, you take one, you take one, and what do we want to do?
I like the pre-pro. Just Zoe reads the headline, and if you have any pun.
Oh, because we could build off of each other, too.
Okay.
Yeah. We could do,
So do we want to just do it I read the headline, you guys go, or do you want me to read a few headlines and then you guys go?
How many stories are there?
I have 3 or 4.
Yeah, let's just read them all and then we might go back through them.
Well, this is a story I wrote about today. So I guess Coachella has been happening, if you've seen it on the gram.
What's Coachella?
Well, it's where people...
famous music festival in California.
go to get pictures taken of themselves in culturally appropriative outfits.
Yes.
And they say they're there for the music. But ironically, the music has not been good. Had a lot of sound issues.
Okay.
And it turns out one of the reasons is because one of the guys in charge of the sound was working on the staging and fell and died.
Jesus.
Let that beat drop.
Oh.
That was what I think. So. Wow. Again, nothing is ever too soon. Thoughts and prayers.
I'm concerned about his afterlife. Did he go to heaven or Coachella?
Of course he went to Coachella.
Nice.
We'll see him again later this year at Burning Man.
Oh. I heard he was in death metal.
Did he fall and die, or was it a slip knot?
Ooh, tough rap.
Any royalties made for this episode will go to that poor man's
Oh, God.
Good job, no one's listening. So that one's done. Okay, so the other one, this one's kind of topical to our lives, except Peter, because sorry, you don't go. Yeah.
Don't worry.
Can't include you all the time. You're just the offstage.
He's
guy.
used to being an outsider.
Yeah. So the story is, of course, the talk of the town at our local workplace are food delivery robots.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Have invaded
Starship.
the college campus.
Yep.
And it's now the second university to introduce a fleet of over 30 robots.
It's true.
Whose purpose is to deliver food to students on campus.
It's true. It's true.
It's all anyone can talk about or take pictures of.
Well, they made a parody Instagram account for these robots. It's called the NAU robots.
Or did the robots actually make a real Instagram account, making us think that someone made a parody?
Here's the thing. I'm afraid they're going to organize because they all hang out together.
Unionize?
Yeah, well, that maybe that too. They deserve that. You know,
that'd be the first NAU employee group.
Yeah.
Don't tell Rita.
Yeah.
Do they get angry? I mean, like, because they're always driving all the place. They have a little bit of android rage at all?
That's it.
Not an automaton of fun, huh?
Yeah, why isn't Starship hiring us? Starship should hire us for their marketing.
Was that the company that...
Starship Technology.
I think maybe next episode they might have an interest.
I really want to sit on one and ride it.
That's what she said.
NAU Rodeo. That's what you're going to be right there. NAU Rodeo.
Yeah.
Winner gets the food inside.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, that's
They can make that. They have 3 wheels, so they could make them like bucking broncos.
Yeah, and the buckier one has the best food inside.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, sir, cut it out.
All right, what's your other story?
Well, if they do go rogue,
These aren't really pop culture. I just thought they were fun.
Okay, that's fine.
So a man is suing his parents for destroying his $29,000 porn collection.
How is a porn collection worth money?
Well, here's what's interesting is the formats within these. So there's about 1,600 DVDs. Okay. 400 VHS tapes. Which makes me think this goes back.
Wait a second, this 29 years old.
No, 29,000.
Oh, 29,000, okay.
I don't know how old he was.
Whoa! Okay, we don't know how, okay.
But 400 VHS tapes, 160 plus CDs, and 70 sex toys.
Porn CDs? Do you mean DVDs?
No. There were 1,600 CDs and 160 plus CDs.
DVDs. 1,600 DVDs.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So,
But no Blu-rays.
Yeah.
Get with the times.
Well, I mean, he had VHS.
It's retro.
Okay, so someone's porn collection was stolen.
Well, no, destroyed by his parents.
Oh.
Did you hear they even took his Honda? Yeah, they took the Bukakis. Sorry.
Well, they were really...
You said we were going R-rated here.
Well, when I brought the story to the forefront, I knew we weren't going to keep it PG.
Yes.
Then there's this other story. I don't have a lot of details, but apparently there's a guy in Jackson, Mississippi, who is terrorizing this neighborhood by leaving random bowls of mashed potatoes around the neighborhood.
Oh.
Well, that's just,
how is that
that's just being a good neighbor.
Yeah.
Got a real
people
who spun
think
it.
that he's trying to kill animals.
By leaving mashed potatoes out?
Yeah.
Oh.
Why? What are...
I wish I knew.
Potatoes are a grain? Or what are they?
They're
It's a root
They're
vegetable.
starch, yes.
Starch.
Okay.
Tater's gonna tate, though.
Tater's gonna tate.
Yeah. Maybe killing them slowly.
I'd make a pun, but I'm worried I'd say a spud. So, which I did.
Worry justified.
Manifested itself in front of me.
Anyway, so those are my stories.
Well,
I feel like we've already done a pretty good job with some of these.
I
I think that was kind of fun just running
So
through.
I'll let you take
great.
I'll
Becky?
defer to you for the co-constructed Lori Loughlin one.
Oh yes, from Full House to the Big House.
Yes.
Nice.
In wordplay, yes. Lori Loughlin, no fun.
nice.
A sinking scholarship. I think we could just motor on after this.
No. Let's not. Her husband is also culpable. The Italian fashion designer Massimo. He's also a target of the investigation.
Wait, I was
Good
thinking...
fellow.
There's some good stuff.
What school was this at?
USC.
USC. Mm-hmm. Row your kids right home away from USC. Merrily.
Don't reject the plea.
There we go.
Which they did, and they're pleading not guilty.
Yeah,
and Felicity Huffman is already basically accepting 4 to 12 months in prison.
Oh my gosh.
Those kids won't be the only failed Trojans I've ever encountered. All right, ready?
So, yes, Zoe Escargot, give us your Bird Barn slogs.
I'll be honest. We don't get paid to do ads for Jay's Bird Barn, so they are robbing us blind for free promotion. But maybe from here on out, they will consider this podcast to be the cheapest form of advertising.
No.
I stopped by JBB.
Let's go to college.
JBB, Jay's Bird Barn. No.
This weekend, and I was charmed by a birdwatcher's paradise.
Paradise.
That's all I got.
And this is how we're going to end most of them, I think, right? We've kind of said, another pun bites the dust in terms of shitty puns that either we've read or delivered or heard or gotten really grimacing looks from Zoe earlier this episode. Or if we've tried to deliver a pun that didn't go over well because we weren't in the right company.
Yes, yeah.
So this is our self-esteem
So basically,
boost.
anybody outside of this circle.
Or something other than a funeral that wasn't appreciated.
We need some... Yeah, you can't spell funeral without fun.
More like Keem Ono.
I've got one too. Yes.
Okay.
We all
So we got some puns that the pun blick didn't appreciate.
like that one.
So who wants to start? All right. Pun DMC. Any failures this week?
I have 2, but I think I'll go with my short one right now. So I was at I was helping out my sister and my mom move some furniture around at their house, and afterwards I had the toaster right next to me, and I had this piece of bread, and I said, "Hey guys, want to see me using this toaster? You want to see me turn this bread into Mexican food?" And they said, "Sure." And I put it in, and when it popped up, I said, "Toast!" Ta-da!
Who the fuck wouldn't appreciate that?
The problem was at least two people. But then the problem was everyone in my family is celiac, so the bread was gluten free that cost like $8 a slice, and they were so livid that I wasted a slice of bread for a pun.
No.
Hashtag Flagstaff.
I support it.
Thank you. We close it out?
Yeah. So
What's your sign off?
Well, I was just gonna say we could kind of go around and share our social media handles for our moms to follow if they're not already.
Sure.
Yeah.
So DJ LaRue, Andrew.
So trying to be current with the Gen Z young folks, my Snapchat handle is AAM05001.
Please send nudes. PLZ, please send nudes.
That is...
You know what? Only send nudes.
Can I just tell you, listen, I've tried to send nudes. People don't want them.
Don't send anything else.
Okay.
I have the Snapchat.
Zoe Escargot.
Yeah.
What social you got?
So I have Instagram.
Okay.
But, it's not an easy name. ZOEESCARCEGA. Zoe Escarcega.
At Zoe Escarcega.
Yeah, and then my Snapchat, which I'm just pulling up, is
what do you got?
Zoski.
How do you spell it?
ZOSKI.
Nice.
Yeah.
Zoski. All right, and then Pun DMC, Mr. Peter.
Yeah, I'm on Snapchat at PB Van Wyck. It's PBVANWYCK, and on Twitter as Tweeter Van Wyck. It's Tweeter VANWYCK.
All one word, at Tweeter Van Wyck. Great. And my Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Snapchat, everything is just at Velocirathbone.
Pretty good. That's a really good one.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, see you all in a couple weeks.
A fortnight, as Shakespeare might say.
Thanks for joining us this week on Pun Intended Podcast. Learn more about this week's pun-solicited sponsor, Jay's Bird Barn, on Facebook at JBB Flagstaff. You can follow our graphic designer and illustrator, Maria Perez, on Instagram at Eyes as Daggers. You can find Julia Misaki, the beautiful and skilled cellist responsible for the sweet classical beats you're hearing right now, on Instagram at Ms. Julia Misaki. Make sure to visit our website, punintendedpodcast.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Google Podcasts, etc., so you'll never miss a show. And while you're at it, if you enjoyed this episode, we'd appreciate a rating, or if you'd simply tell your friend about a show, that would help us out too. Be sure to tune in a couple weeks for our next episode. And remember, we don't go for the gold, we go for the grown.